All right, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to Maryland's Cafe Society. It's the second hour, the entertainment hour, and, of course, Michael Jackson with his brothers, the Jackson 5. Enjoy yourself, and I hope that's what you're doing today, and, for the balance of your weekend. All right, it looked to me like the dancers on Dancing with the Stars this past week were thoroughly enjoying themselves. Chelsea and Mark racked up a total number of points. Let's see, 73 was their highest score. And, of course, Kim and Hines racked up 60. And the reason Chelsea and Mark had such a high score is because they won the dance-off. You know, this was the week where they did this dance-off with all of the contestants. And Chelsea and Mark won an extra 15 points. Otherwise, the top score would have been Hines and Kim. All right. And so it was one of those things where, you know, I was busy doing other things, so I was kind of watching it when I could. And anyway, the bottom of the leaderboard for this past week was Ralph and Karina with only 48 total points because they did two dances. Each couple did two dances, and then you totaled the points, and then there was the big dance-off where the winner would get an additional 15 points. Okay, and so day two, the results show, of course, we got a nice performance from Stevie Nicks, and Neil performed as well. We learned right off the bat that Hines and Kim were safe. Who thought that they wouldn't be? All right, and then Chelsea and Mark was announced safe. And then, you know, it was sort of iffy because Kirsty really has that star power. You know, she may not be the best dancer compared to Ralph, but she just has that it factor, I think. And Ralph did too, but Kirsty just in a different way. And maybe it's because she's a woman and, you know, she's 60, I think, and she has this young, hot male dancer. I don't know what it is, but it could have gone either way, in my opinion. And so I'm biting my fingernails like, who is it, Kirsty or is it Ralph? Because Ralph still looks like the Karate Kid, right? He, too, has been around for a while, and he did a fabulous job. But in the end, we found out that Ralph was voted off. I think we would have been upset no matter who it was. If it was Kirsty, we would have been upset. If it was Ralph, we would have been upset. So anyway, Ralph is gone, so we said bye-bye to Ralph. And so now we're in the top three with Hines and Kim, Chelsea and Mark, and Kirsty and Max. Okay, so with Hines and Kim, Hines has this thing about him, too, that's really been carrying him. I don't know what it is. He's just light on his feet, and, you know, he's turning out to be a really good dancer. Just a likable person, right? You don't even know him, and you like him. And then Chelsea, you know, being the Disney kid, although she's not a kid, you know, but the Disney kid, and she has that, you know, she can dance too. And, you know, that all-American girl thing going for her. And then Kirsty, again, like I said, she just has this it factor that's really working for herself. And she's being so transparent and just so brave, in my opinion. So, and I think that's what's really attracting the votes for her, too. So we're going to see. Oh, my gosh. I don't know who it's going to be. Anyway, we'll talk about it perhaps on the web cast later on in the week, or we'll wait till next Saturday and talk about it. But I just can't wait to see who will walk away with the little ball. All right, and so that's Dancing with the Stars. Okay, then, of course, Celebrity Apprentice. The basketball game was on, so there was a lot of competition going on with Celebrity Apprentice for me personally on Sunday. And then I was trying to tweet because I don't get to hang out on Twitter too much, so I was trying to be on Twitter, you know, being a little social, and so I was missing a little bit of Celebrity Apprentice. I did note that Joan Rivers was a previous, was she a winner? I think she was a previous winner. Bret Michaels, we know he was a previous winner. And Piers Morgan, yeah, I think they were all previous winners on Celebrity Apprentice, were called upon to be advisors and interviewers of those who were left. Marley, John Rich, Little John, and Meatloaf. And so they went through this little interview process. Again, I was back and forth between the game at Celebrity Apprentice. And so, I didn't catch everything, but I did catch this. And remember last Saturday, I said to Donald Trump, Uncle Don, if you're listening, I was a little concerned. All the black women were fired. All were gone from the Apprentice, all in the same night. And I'm just joking here, and I said I would be really worried if Little John was fired on Sunday. And guess what? He was fired right off the bat. But I get it, because I saw that part of the interview when he was asked who did he think was going to be the winner, the celebrity, who was going to win. And he said John Rich or Marley. Wrong answer, completely wrong answer, right? You're supposed, whether you think you can or not, you're always supposed to say, I'm going to be the winner. Well, I think he was just being very honest, and it costed him. So he was fired because he didn't say that he thought he should be the winner. All right. And then Meatloaf was fired. I knew Meatloaf was going to be fired because, listen, John Rich did rock it, right? That little country boy wearing that cowboy hat. We didn't think that, how people think about the country music and, country, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, he really, really performed in this season's Celebrity Apprentice. And as well as Little John and even Meatloaf. Meatloaf had that temper, and that worked against, he had a temper on one hand, and then he was very emotional and crying a lot on the other hand. And that, wasn't a good showing for him. So he was being fired for being too emotional, because in a business setting, remember, you're talking about Donald Trump, the king of business. In a business setting, you cannot be that way, flying off the hook, wanting to throw somebody out the window on one hand, and then you're boo-hooing and sobbing. And you know how people look at men who cry a lot. Yeah. So anyway, and I'm one of those people. I think men should cry. I don't see anything wrong with crying, but just don't do it in public. Okay, anyway, so he was fired. Meatloaf, that is, was fired for being too emotional. So now our final two on Celebrity Apprentice is Marley and John Rich. Some people aren't really feeling too good about that, because I thought Star Jones would at least be in the final two, even though I didn't like her way of doing things. And I think her, little educated connivingness kind of did her in. But just knowing Star Jones as the attorney, the talk show host, the woman who always presents herself well in public, I just knew that she would be in the final two, and it didn't happen. And then Nene was another contender, because she didn't have that education thing, that academia thing going for her, but she had the street smarts and the wit about her to handle business too. So she quit, though, and then got fired for quitting, so that didn't work. So now we have Marley and John Rich, and so we get to see the live finale this week. And, I got so tied up, I meant to go on that website. Remember, they had that website that you could go to. It was one of the products, one of the brands that they were had the teams working on. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, if you went on that website, you could sign up to win a trip to New York for the live taping of the finale. And I got so busy, I forgot to put a sticky note on the computer to remind myself to do it, and so I missed out on that. So I have to watch it on TV. And speaking of Donald Trump, you heard this, right? He's not going to be president. I told you. See, I know Uncle Don. He was just flirting around with politics. He may have thought about it, but I don't think he was serious, because his greatest passion is business, people. He loves business. He's a real estate mogul. He's got this reality TV star thing down pat, and that's where I think he should stay. And he said it. He wasn't ready to give up his work in the private sector, So kudos to him. But, you heard what he said, right? But if I had ran for president, I would have won. Classic answer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back with hopefully an open mic singing contestant. So call me now, 815-254-7300. That's 815-254-7300.